Hi everybody, welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. I'm Libby from Truly Myrtle and I'm calling in from down here in New Zealand where the sun is shining and the sky is blue, but it's a little bit crisp down here. We're sinking our way into winter. In fact, we feel like we're quite wintry now down here in New Zealand. Depending on where you are, you might still be wearing a light cardigan like me, or maybe you're wearing a really chunky one. But if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of course it's summer. Anyway, I am the designer from Truly Myrtle, Truly Myrtle Knitting Patterns, and I'm also the founder of Wardrobe Toolbox, where we talk all about how to find a garment, or how to modify garments to fit you, how to just get that perfect fit in a garment. Anyway, I do a live video every Thursday. I'm just waiting to see if people are jumping on. It's nice to see you. Give me a chat, give me a hi in the comments. Oh my goodness, I don't know if my brain is turned on already today. Give me a hi in the comments. It's always nice to see you. I go live on YouTube and my Truly Myrtle channel, and also on my Facebook page over on Facebook. I used to be in the group. So if you used to watch me live in our Facebook group, I've now moved because Facebook won't let anyone go live in the group anymore. We're now live on our page. Hey everybody, it's nice to see you. Oh, it's another wet, miserable day in Rangiora, Barbara. Oh my goodness, but it's so pretty in Rangiora. I think you can probably forgive it. Hi Fiona and Sabrina and Muriel, lovely to see you. And hi Nan, nice to see you too. I thought I would chat to you today about the Gingerbliss cardigan that I'm wearing, because I know a lot of you have it now, and we're running a knit along over in the Truly Myrtle Hangout, which is the free Facebook group on Facebook for all the Truly Myrtle knitters. You can knit Truly Myrtle patterns and Truly Myrtle yarn and anything to do with Truly Myrtle. Bring them over there and knit with everybody else. I think we're just so close to 5,000 people, I think, in that group, if I'm right. I think I'm right. I lose a bit of track with the numbers. Anyway, there are lots of people from all over the world knitting Truly Myrtle patterns. They've been knitting them for years. And so if you've got a pattern and you're a little bit stuck, or you just want to show someone who cares, and you're sick of trying to tell your family about your knitting and they look at you, there she goes again, talking about knitting. If you're sick of that, come and join us over in the Truly Myrtle Hangout, because we love hearing what you're knitting. We love seeing what you're knitting. And if you have any questions, there's always going to be someone in there who's knitted it before you. So they will be able to help you. And if you're just saying, I don't know what yarn to choose, or I don't know if this is working, or I've got this little problem here, or this never, come and ask us over there. That's where we talk about all that kind of stuff. Hey, Claire. Oh, Sabrina, is it grey where you are too, and you're sewing and knitting today? Sounds like heaven to me. Hey, Lynn. Oh, you're windy over there. And, well, we're not. Look, there's hardly a breath of wind here. It's actually beautiful outside. The sky is really blue. You know, for those of you who have been to New Zealand or live in New Zealand, Australia is a bit the same, is much the same. And I'm big parts of America. Just that wide open expanse of blue sky. That's what we've got today. This endless blue sky out there. It's beautiful, but not much wind for me, Lynn. Hi Robin, nice to see you. Hi Karen. Oh, you're wearing your Gingerbliss on a chilly Sydney morning, Karen. That's nice to hear. And Terry says it's a frosty 2 degrees down south with a bit of sun. Terry, I could have done with you the last week actually. I'll talk to you about that another day. I'm doing a bit of sewing, and I could have done with your assistance, but never mind, you're too far away. Maybe if I move closer to you, I'll pop over with my sewing and you can help me. Joanna says it's a grey day in Dargaville. Hey Maureen, nice to see you. Nobody here, no one up here wants to hear about my knitting and the hunt for wool. You're up in Wisconsin still, Maureen. How long are you there for? Are you on holiday? You haven't moved there, have you? Anyway, she said it's grey over there. And nobody wants to hear about your knitting. Well, we do. We want to hear about your knitting and your hunt for wool. We want to hear about your stash. We want to hear about your latest notions. We want to hear about the pattern that you're dying to knit. That is what we want to hear about. Okay, so heaps and heaps of you. Where did I put the pattern? I just had the pattern a minute ago, and I probably sat on it. Hang on a second. Don't tell me I've dropped it. Yes, I have. I dropped it. Heaps of you bought the Gingerbliss pattern, which is the little one I'm wearing, complete with top underneath. This is the printed copy of the pattern that if you order it from my website and you like a print, this is the little print that you get. It's a little card covered. It's a nice firm card covered print. And it's just a good size, that A5 size that just slots into your knitting bag. So if you ordered that from me, you should have them all by now. but you can grab those from my website. If you order a PDF pattern, then you will get exactly what is in here, exactly the same, but you will get it digitally on your computer. Now, I just will say that if you do order a printed pattern, you also get a digital copy from me. But you can order the digital pattern from Ravelry, you can order it from Love Knitting, and you can also order it on my website. So it's in all of those places. And you will get sent a file, a digital file, and it's you can print it out and it will suit your printer, whether it's a letter printer from the States or whether it's an A4 printer from the rest of us. I don't know. So it will work for your paper. So one thing I wanted to say is that we're getting a couple of emails. We've had a couple of emails. We had a few emails. I think we've had more than I've seen because Claire really kindly handles a lot of the inquiries that come in about patterns and things for me. And there's quite a few inquiries coming in about, I ordered the pattern and I don't know where it is. And you will get an email sent to you that has a link to the download in it, irrespective of whether you bought a printed pattern or a digital pattern, because you get the printed pattern, you get the digital pattern as well. You will get an email sent to you and it will have a link in it, and you'll need to click that, and that will take you, or open, it will take you to the digital file. So if you know you've ordered a pattern and you haven't received an email, first of all, check your junk file and see if it's in junk or it's in trash or something, not trash, it won't be in trash, but it might be in some sort of junk. Promotions. Gmail puts things in promotions for you. So go and check there and see if you can find it. If you still can't find it, drop us a line and we can just double check. Maybe you signed in with a different email address and you hadn't realized. If you've bought something from Ravelry and you're not signed in, then it won't be saved in your Ravelry library. So if you are buying a pattern on Ravelry and you want to have it automatically popped into your Ravelry library, make sure you're signed in. And the same is true for my website. You can have an account on my website and all of your downloads will be saved there. So if you make an account and you sign in, then you can go to a page called Downloads and it will have all the patterns you bought from me, so you can get them, again and again and again, and you know that they're stored there. Having said all that, I do recommend it's a good idea to have somewhere that is just yours to store your digital files. But if you've received an email, or if you haven't received an email, or if you've got an email and you're just totally bamboozled about what you're supposed to do now, hunt through for a link. There's a little link, click that, and it will get your digital file. Now, I know a lot of you have managed that quite successfully because so many of you have knitted the patterns. But just in case you're new to this, just follow those instructions and see how you get on. Oh, it's wet and grey in Hawke's Bay. I think we might have all of the good weather here where I am in Auckland. Well, South Auckland. Hi, Rebecca. It's cold in Melbourne. Not as cold as yesterday, though. We had -4 in Melbourne. So cold, but lots of knitting weather. That's really good. Maureen is up there until the 7th of July. Oh, how delicious, Maureen. 6.5 weeks away. How fantastic. I envy you. That fabulous break. How nice. Find some wool shops, though, for sure. Okay, so you've got the pattern. So far, so good. And then you think, what yarn am I going to use? We're actually running a knit along, as I said, over in the Truly Myrtle Hangout. So if you want to knit your pattern with other people, come over there and we can talk yarn and we can talk sizing and all of those things. But I thought I would give you a couple of ideas. Now, the first idea is, of course, the garment is the yarn that I chose. So it's the same yarn as the one that I've got behind me on my Ginger Snap, and it's the Truly Myrtle yarn on the Southlander base from Skeins. And I actually put it on this morning and I thought, I really love this yarn. I love this yarn. It is quite a nice firm knit, so it feels like it's a good little neat cardigan. It's quite a snappy little cardigan, the knit that you get out of this. It's not sloppy, it doesn't fall down to your knees. It's quite a neat little cardigan, and the wool will do that because the wool holds itself together. So there's that. It's like a farm yarn, I say. It's an unprocessed, straight off the sheep's back. You can smell lovely smells in it, particularly if you get the undyed ones. And it's a really nice woolly, bouncy, robust kind of yarn, a wool, and it's almost bomb proof. It's pretty good. You don't get pilling. You're not going to get a heck of a lot of pilling. I'm going to get a little bit of pilling as I start to wear it, but not a lot. It's not going to be super pilly. Now with that, it's soft. I've got a bare skin underneath here. I've got my little singlet top on, so I've got bare skin, and it's easily nice enough to wear over my bare skin. But if you're particularly sensitive, you might find that it has a little bit of like guts to it. You just might find that a little bit, but you have to be pretty sensitive, I think. It's lovely. It's a lovely yarn. It has a beautiful smooth appearance, and when you depill it after, if it gets scuffed up through a bit of wear, you depill it, it is absolutely immaculate again. It is back to its pristine start. So I'm a huge fan of this yarn. I just love it. I actually stood in front of the mirror this morning when I got dressed and I was doing my hair and stuff, and I thought, oh, I could fancy another cardigan in this yarn, actually. I think I could fancy another one of these in this yarn. I just loved the little neck. I think I could do a size smaller on myself. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I get a really neat little fit. But I really love this yarn, and I think it's going to be, it's timeless. It's a timeless yarn. That's what's so beautiful about it. Fiona says that Southlander is your go-to yarn. Yeah. Becky made hers in Bendigo Classic 5-ply. It's a great basic cardigan. I think it's a bit like the Truly Myrtle yarn. It's very hard wearing. Yeah, I think that's what I really like about it. It's a go-to everyday yarn. You can just really bash it about and wear it a lot. You wash it and then depill it, and you're back to the beginning again. It's great. So if you want something like this, Skeins have got all the Truly Myrtle yarn there, but it's not all available anymore, especially this finger. It's actually for sport weight yarn. There's a lot of it has sold out, but you can look at their entire Southlander range and choose another color. There's a masses of colors in that range, and they're really pretty colors. So have a look through. If you want something just like this, and your Skeins post all over the world, it's a really good priced yarn, extremely good price. And then you'll have a range of colors to choose from, and I think you can't go wrong. It's a great yarn for this cardigan. Obviously I designed it for the cardigan for the yarn, so it's a really good one to choose from. So that is a good start. Now if you are away from New Zealand, or you just had enough of Southland, or you want to try something different, or they don't have the color that you absolutely love and you want to try something else, I pulled this one out of my stash, which I think will be similar. I think it's going to be scratchier. Actually, I think it's going to be quite a bit scratchier, but I think it should soften up with knitting and wear. It should soften up with blocking. And I think if you put a bit of hair conditioner into it, it will soften it up a little bit more. And this is a tuku wool. God, I don't know what's happened to my brain today. Tuku wool fingering. It's 100% finish wool. And it's a similar sort of yardage. It's more of a fingering yardage. It's got just under 400 meters for 100 grams. And I think, and it's just a straight off the sheep's back kind of wool. And that kind of yarn will be a good substitute. Something that is, you just look at it and you think, that's wool. Oh, that's wool. That reminds me of when I was a kid. That kind of yarn, that's the sort of yarn. Karen also made hers in Bendigo 5-ply. Okay, so Bendigo Classic 5-ply from Australia also sounds like a great match. Oh, Andrea said, I wish I'd found this yarn earlier. The colours I like aren't available now. Oh, Andrea, email them and say, I loved that colour and I loved that colour. See if they'll do something about new colours. Okay, so that would be, you're thinking wholesome wool. That's what you're thinking. If you want a look like the one I've got, if you want the attributes that I've just described, that's the kind of yarn, go for that. Now, if you're thinking, actually, I want something a little more polished, I want something that is has a bit of sheen to it, and I actually want it to be softer. I want something that has a little bit of drape, and all of these things have their place in our wardrobes. I want it to be quite a bouncy kind of gauge, so I want it to have a lot of movement in it when I'm knitting it, so it's got a lot of bounce in the fabric itself, and I just want it to be overall polished. I just want a slightly more polished look. Oh, Lynn, exactly. Your Ziggy DK. Your Ziggy DK gives a perfect gauge. Oh, that's interesting. So Lynn from Fibre to Go has got Ziggy DK. Now that would give you what I was just talking about, polish. It would give you a really polished finish. It's a superwash base, isn't it, Lynn? It is, isn't it, superwash? Often these things are a superwash. They're quite a nice twist to them. So when you're looking at the yarn, look at the twist. If you've got a nice tight twist or an obvious twist in it, then that's going to give you a little bit more of a sleeker finish. Lynn's Ziggy that she just mentioned there is a pure merino, but the one I pulled out was actually this one. And this is from Dreamfire, and this is a fingering yarn, and it's on their Yasuk 4-ply. Now this is an interesting yarn because it's a yak 20%, silk 20%, merino 60%, and it's a hand dye. So it's got all those interesting colors that change through it, and you can already see the sheen on it compared to what I'm wearing. It's a similar color to the one I'm wearing. It's called Sea Serpent, but you can see the shine in it. This is quite a dull yarn in comparison. It's a matte finish. This is quite a sleek finish with a beautiful twist in it. Now I have made a garment in something like this. This has the yak in it as well, and that was my Sersha top, which I adore. This top, I wear this one a lot. I used a Happy Go Knitty yarn for this, but it's very similar, and it knits up into this it's incredibly hard wearing actually. I don't get pills in this, not really, and it's just got a lovely drape to it. The fabric itself has really got a lot of stretch to it, so you're quite comfortable in that, and the sheen is lovely. But one of the reasons why I picked out this one and this one is because it has that added element of the yak, and the yak gives it, can you see the dark halo that kind of goes all the way through this? It has that dark hue to it, which I absolutely love, but that is the yak, and it's that slight dark halo that just ripples its way all the way through. So that would be a beautiful choice. Quite different. It's quite different cardigan than the one I'm wearing. What you'll find is that the stitches on the cuffs and the hem will be really crisp. You can see the crispness of the lace that I have down my shoulder here. So they'll pop, be quite, but it will look absolutely delicious in the other yarn. And you'll also find that it has that stretch, so you have a lot of movement in it. It'll just look polished. It'll have a really polished look to it. Barbara's saying that Dreamfire Artisan yarns, Yasuk, will be divine. I use their organic merino sport, soft and drapey. Oh, nice. So they've got a sport weight as well. So you'll have to fiddle around with your gauge for this one, just slightly. It depends on your knitting style to get the gauge you need. But this is a nice adaptable kind of the gauge I've got. It works quite well for fingering and for some sports, so a lot of sports, and so it will be pretty. You can substitute one in for the other. Just please swatch. I just ask of you, really kindly. I'm not demanding, I'm just asking kindly that maybe you swatch like a good size swatch so you know what your stitches are going to do. Anyway, that will be lovely. Now, if you go for something like Lynn mentioned with her Ziggy DK from Fibre to Go, then the superwash base will give you it's just a 100% merino. It's got a lovely twist to it, and it's that will also give you that great stitch definition. You won't have the dark halo, so if that doesn't appeal to you and you want it to be quite a light look to it, then it won't have the dark halo to it, and it will just be this. Oh, it'll be absolutely gorgeous. It'll be absolutely gorgeous. Little everyday cardigan. It won't pill because it'll be the superwash. And so you'll be able to just bash that thing around as well a lot. But just to be a little bit careful with all of your knits. Don't bash them around too much. I say they're bomb-proof, but you know what I mean. We don't bash them around. Okay, so that will give you a totally different look. Now for the last option, I wanted to show you this one, this is one of my favorite yarns of all time. And this is Daintree from Skein. Now, Daintree from Skein is 65% superwash merino, 20% bamboo, 15% silk. It's the one I used. It's a sport weight yarn, and it's the one I used. Oh, hang on, is it sport weight or fingering? What does she say? Yeah, it's 350, kind of bridges that gap. It's the one I used for my Timely cardigan, this little stripy cardigan of mine. Now the overwhelming thing about this knit is it's cool. It's actually cool to the touch. Bamboo is very cool to the touch, and having bamboo in this would be fantastic. If you wanted a knit that is good for a really warm winter, if you don't have a cold winter, then you might find that you want something like this that gives you a little bit, just a layer. Or if you're thinking of taking this and turning her into something that you can wear all year long, you might make the sleeves a little bit shorter on this, and you may or may not include the cuff. You might just go for a little 3/4 length sleeve, just with the ribbed, twisted rib at the cuff. And you might make it shorter all over. You might adapt a little bit of that waist shaping and just pull the length up, and so you crop it a bit and you put the patterning still at the bottom, but you go for something like this. So she's really a lovely little, wear her open, a Nigella cardigan that you just throw over the top, and she's just a gorgeous little layer for you, and she will be cool. I just adore this yarn. So it's Skein, Australia, Daintree. Now I know other people, this is Peach Rose, the color I'm holding here. There are other people that have this base now, so I'll tell you what the base is again, and you can hunt it down. 65% superwash merino, 20% bamboo, 15% silk. It's 380 yards or 350 meters per 100 grams. Okay, this is a hand wash. This is a hand wash. It's a hand wash. Okay, it's definitely a hand wash. It's a hand dye, so it has all these beautiful color changes through it. You can just, all manner of ways of dyeing, of course, but this for a summer substitute, absolutely beautiful. She'll be absolutely beautiful. So those are just some ideas to take you out of the box and get you thinking about, what exactly do I want to wear? Have a little look around and decide, what do I like to wear? What clothes do I want to wear it with? Am I just going to throw another cardigan into the mix and I don't even know what I'm going to do with it? Or am I going to think, you know what? I'm going to get myself ready for the upcoming summer, or maybe you're in summer. I really fancy a summer layer, and I really like that little scoop of that neck, and I think I could wear that winter and summer. And I just want a little set-in sleeve. I want a classic cardigan, and then think about where you're going to wear in colours and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some yarn ideas. I just love yarn, and I just love the way there are a million ways you can turn the same base pattern, this is an excellent base pattern, into a totally different cardigan. Do it. Just absolutely do it. Make it 5 times with different yarn, different trim, different sizes, and all those sorts of things, and you will have 5 100% different cardigans. You will, if you find a fit that you like, just go for it. I recommend. Okay, let's have a look what you're saying. Maureen, that's why I'm waiting to get home to buy some wool, or I might use Chatswood's Padstow. Chatswood. Oh, Chatswood's a DK. Do they do a fingering as well? That would be lovely. Chatswood, I would definitely, I don't know if I'm thinking of the right yarn. I don't know if I've got a different one in mind, but that would be lovely in Chatswood. It would be quite a different jersey in the Chatswood. It would be just sort of, ever so oozy and delicious and soft. Marie says, I love the Truly Myrtle yarn, and I'm quietly shuffling it back to the South Island. I absolutely adore the sport weight version. Thank you for sharing your wonderful yarn, Libby. Oh, that's really nice, Marie. Well, this is one of my, I love all the colours actually, but this is one of my colours I couldn't wait to turn into a garment for myself, and I'm sorry to say there isn't actually any more left at the moment, certainly not in the sport, but have a look around. You might find a colour that's similar. I don't know. It's a lovely sort of blue green. Oh, I love this colour. Anyway, it's called Bliss. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, just while we're on the subject of, we've got our pattern and we've decided on our yarn, all good, so far so good. I should have said to you I was going to talk to you about swatching, but I think we're going to take it as a given, okay, that we're swatching. If you're undecided about your yarn, you could just do a tiny little swatch. Just do it and see what you think. Do I like it? Is it picking up stitch definition like I want? Has it got some stretch to it? Is this what the yarn, is it turning into what I want? Is this exactly what I was after? You could just do a little one, but when you're coming to choose your size, you're going to need to know how big your stitches are. And in order to find out how big your stitches are, you got to knit a little. And so knit yourself a square. In a perfect world, we're knitting ourselves swatching squares, and we're going to make them about this big. And I know that looks like a heck of a lot of knitting, but it's actually not too bad. You can sit down and just put on something that you enjoy watching, grab your favorite needles, and get cracking. And cast on. I like to cast on about 40 stitches. It gives you a nice little flow, get you into a flow. And you want to knit flat, because most of the body's knitted flat. You also might want to knit in the round. You might want to knit 2 swatches, because you might want to see if you need to change needle sizes for your sleeves compared to your body, because often once we drop the purls and we're just knitting around, our knitting gets a bit tighter. Some people's gets looser, but most people gets tighter. And so you might want to go up a needle size for this part here, for the sleeves, just so that the stitches are the same size as the body. But let's just start with the body. Knit yourself a flat swatch and block it exactly like you would wash it, and then measure it. You will get a sense as you start to knit whether or not your stitches are a good size, whether you like the fabric, because the aim is find a fabric that you like, and once you've found the fabric that you like, then you can measure that. So I would start with the needles I recommended, and see what size your stitches are coming out on that. And you might say to yourself, oh, this is just much too tight for me. My yarn doesn't like being this tight. Or maybe it's too loose. And in that case, go up or down a needle size. If you need to make your stitches bigger because they're too tight, use a bigger needle. And if you need to make your stitches a little bit closer, if you want to pull that gauge back a bit, go down a needle size. So do that until you figure out the stitches you like. Wash it, block it. That just means dry it, straight, flat, all the things. Shake it. That means shake it so it dries how it wants to dry. And then measure it. And we can talk all about that in detail another day. But if you want to know more about that, you could have a little look at the swatching guide on my website. And you can download that if you want, and then have a little look on the all the things I recommend on the swatching guide. Okay, so we know what size our stitches are, and we know what yarn we're going to use, and we have a pattern. We're getting closer to casting on. It does happen eventually. The next thing we want to do is we want to choose a size to knit. So I'm going to assume that you have got gauge. I'm going to assume that your stitches and your rows are the same, or your rounds, depending if you're doing your flat or swatch in the round, are the same as the ones I called for in the pattern. And I've said you need 24 stitches and 30 rows in a 4-inch or 10 centimeter square. So I'm going to assume, for the purposes of this, that you got gauge. Yes, brilliant. You've got yarn, you've got gauge, you're all good. You love the fabric, okay? That's the main thing. You love the fabric. Now, there are 15 sizes in this pattern, and we're going to turn to the back page, and we're going to start looking there and thinking, okay, so finished measurements. I've got a whole bunch of sizes here for finished measurements, but I'm going to scoot down to this part, and it says the sample is shown in size 5. This is size 5, with approximately 2.75 inches or 7 centimeters of ease, 2.75 inches, sorry, or 7 centimeters of ease at the bust. Now let me just do it up for you, and then you will see what that means. So I've designed it on me to have about 2.75 inches, so 2 to 3, ended up being 2.75 inches of ease at the bust. So when you see it on me, you can see it's a skimming fit. It's not tight on my boobs. It's just a skimming fit. It's actually quite a comfy fit. I can wear something underneath it really easily, and it feels quite good on me. So if you like that kind of fit, you might want to go smaller, or you might want to go bigger. With a set-in sleeve cardigan, I wouldn't go much bigger. I wouldn't go above 4 inches of ease on a set-in sleeve. I would stick to somewhere between 0 or even below minuses. That my Timely cardigan, she's a raglan, but she's minus 2 inches of ease, or 5 centimeters of ease, less than the size of my body. Right up to about 4 inches or 10 centimeters bigger than your body, and it spreads around your body. This design suits that kind of amount of ease best. If you want something super baggy, maybe veer towards a different style of knit. Okay, now there's something else you can see in this, and I mentioned before I might knit myself a smaller size. When I knitted this one, I've put on quite a bit of weight over the last year or two, And I measured myself and everything. My bust has grown, and my upper bust has grown, and my back has grown, and everything about me has grown. And I decided I was going to knit a size 5. And I did. I knitted a size 5, and it fits me pretty well. My shoulders are actually there, but actually it just falls off my shoulders a little bit at the top here. And so it just is an ever so slightly relaxed fit for me. So one of the measurements you might want to choose, other than your upper bust, and then adding on a bit of ease to find your full bust, or just going for the full bust. If you're very full busted compared to your shoulders, definitely use the upper bust method. I talked about it the other day on the podcast, so you might want to go back and have a look at that one specifically. But the other measurement you might want to consider is this measurement here from your cross shoulder measurement. Now, if you go to one of the pages in the pattern, on the printed pattern, it's right at the back. Well, actually, it's at the back for both of them, printed and digital. And I've got a page here of all of the measurements. And one of those measurements is cross back measurement. And that's that measurement from shoulder seam to shoulder seam, like this. Shoulder seam to shoulder seam. And you might want to get someone to help you measure across your back. Try and go reasonably straight, unless you have a real hump to the back of your back. If you're quite rounded there, then do take a bit of that into consideration. But otherwise, just go straight across your back. I mean, in a perfect world, you would go straight across and then you would add short rows for that hump. That's the kind of thing we talk about in Wardrobe Toolbox. But let's just say we'll go straight across for our shoulders and take that measurement here. Now, you want something that ideally hits you right where your end of your shoulder is. Now, knitting is stretchy, so it will stretch and slop off. So you can see mine is just slops off a little bit. I can pull it all back together again. But I think I could knit a smaller size. I think I could get away with it. And I think maybe what I would do is maybe I would consider a small bust start for myself in a smaller size. Or maybe I would just do a few more increases through here just to get me to my bust size that I'm after. Or maybe I just go for a cardigan that I always wear open and I don't care about whether or not it shuts neatly at the front, because I'm likely to always wear this one open. And so, but I'm looking at this size from here to here, and I just want to know that it's going to fit me well across the back of my shoulders and then fall from there. I also want to know that it's going to fit me at the sleeve. So the other measurement I would definitely look at is your upper arm circumference, and take that with your arm by your side. Don't have your arm out here because everything, hangs down underneath. Just have it down by your side and take it there. So we've got a few measurements to think about. We've got our upper bust if we're going to choose a size based on that. We've got our full bust if we really are pretty proportionate between our upper and our shoulders and our bust, and we never really notice anything rising, or we just know we're not, busty. So you could choose it with your full bust in mind. Look at your cross shoulder and look at your upper arm circumference. You might also want to look at your waist, but you can think about that later, because this has waist shaping in it and it comes in. If you're planning to do it up, you're going to want to have a bit of room around your middle. Now, it's quite subtle waist shaping. You can see it in the picture. It's quite subtle waist shaping, but I have given you the measurement for the waist circumference, and you're going to want to know that your size gives you at least 3 inches of ease at the waist, because you just do not want it to be like a sausage casing around your middle. But you can think about that later. We're just going to start by actually choosing what size to cast on. So I'm thinking I could go back and I could choose a size 4. I always used to knit size 4. I always was a size 4 before. And so I could go back to my size 4, and it would be quite a trim fit through my shoulder. It would be smaller through here. It would be slimmer through my arm. I might decide that if I'm going to go for a size 4, I might go for a different fabric. I might go for a really, really stretchy fabric instead. I have to think about that, whether I'd want to. But I would also plan to always wear that one open, I think. Unless I put bust darts in, and I thought about making the front a bit bigger. But I think actually I'd probably wear it open. So I'd say, oh, well, we'll just get to the bust and then she'll be good. There we go. And so I'd probably just always wear it open like that anyway, because I just like wearing my cardies open. So that, once you've figured out that, you might find you fall into a couple of different sizes. And that's the other thing that you would probably want to come and join us in Wardrobe Toolbox to talk about. But at least you could start with a size that gives you the fit you want through here and gets you to your bust. This part here is the more tricky part to change. You can change it, but it's the more tricky part to change in a pattern. Once you get to the underarms, Honestly, the world is your oyster. You can choose whatever, you can change whatever you like. So that's where I would start. Okie doke. I think that's enough to get you going. Now, if you want to come and join us over in Truly Myrtle in the Hangout, we would love to see you there. You can catch up with everything I do, including getting links to the Hangout and all those sorts of things, by joining my mini mag list. And you can go to trulymyrtle.com/minimag. That's just one word, MINIMAG, minimag. And come and jump on my mini mag list, and then I will email you every Friday, pretty much almost every Friday, unless I'm sick in bed. I'll email you every Friday, and I'll just give you a link to this video and a replay that you don't have to watch on social media. And I will also just give you lots of little news about what's happening, and you get discounts when patterns come out. Has Amanda had a baby? Amanda's had a baby, Terry. She had a little girl, and apparently they're all doing pretty well. And I think she was born about 2 days ago. I think 2 days ago she was born. Yeah, so it's very exciting in the Wardrobe Toolbox and Truly Myrtle family, the broader family, because there's a new baby in the house. We always love it when people have babies, so that's very fun. Should we all swamp her with the hand knits? I'm sure she'd love that. Okay, everybody, I will catch you same time, same place next week. Do come and join us for the knit along. It's just always fun to do things with other people who actually want to hear about them and want to join in your excitement about your yarn and your knitting. So come and join us in the Hangout for the knit along and ask all your questions, and there will be people there to help you with them. And otherwise, I will see you same time, same place next week. All right, everybody. Happy knitting. See you later.